Recently, a few Aquarius have said to me, and I've been hearing this for a long time now that I think about it. I've been hearing this since I was a kid. But recently, several different Aquarius on several different occasions came to me and said they couldn't understand why they cannot stand certain Aquarius. They told me that some Aquarius they adore, they love them to death, they get along so well, they finish each other's sentences, you know, and it's men and women, different, walks of life, and they're like, some of them, we just vibe, we just understand each other. It's amazing. And I totally get that because I experience that every day at Ask an Aquarius. And they said, but then it's the other times when they cannot stand other Aquarius. And I've experienced that too. So I'm going to tell you guys what I think about it, and you can tell me what you think about it in the comment section. I'm Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and pass it on to anybody and everybody who might like it too. Likewise, please stick around because I'm going to read out two of my favorite comments from previous videos and talk a little bit about them. Okay? If you would like to get a reading done, please email me. If you would like to send me a gift on Amazon, underneath this video is all my information, my Amazon wish list, because gifts are my love language. Also, if you want to email me, my email is there, all my social media, my Patreon page, and everything else you might want to know about me. So why do some Aquarius dislike other Aquarius and love other ones? This is very common in all zodiac signs. I've come to find in all zodiac signs, you will either, according to astrologers, because a lot of times when people tell you information, it's just what they think. This is what I researched. Okay? And according to astrologers, some Aquarius or some people in your sun sign, no matter what it is, you're going to get along with extremely well because you have many of the same interests, you have many of the same hobbies, you understand each other's way of thinking, and you probably have a lot of things in common. Like when I meet other Aquarius, a lot of them are very creative. We can vibe on creativity. A lot of them are into music. We can vibe on different kinds of music. A lot of them are really into their causes, their humanitarian or whatever kind of causes. We can vibe on that. So a lot of times when I meet Aquarius, we have so many things in common that it's just wonderful, But also, sometimes I meet Aquarius and it's not like that. I grew up with an Aquarius and she spent our entire childhood trying to be better than me. That was one of her goals in life. I'm not quite sure why. Because I was younger than her. So it was like, wouldn't your competition be a couple years older, boo-boo? But for some reason, that was her thing. And she spent a great deal of time trying to one-up me. If I liked the guy, she would try to date him. Dumb stuff like that. And to this day, we're talking about a whole lifetime because I met her family when I was like 3. And we're talking about a whole lifetime of that same negative energy. And I cannot stand her. I do not like her. I'm not going to say I hate her. Like if I saw her, on fire, I'd put her out. I'd get some water and put her out. But I don't particularly care for her. When I see her coming, I leave. I don't stay at events when she's there or around her when she's there. She's always plotting. She's always watching you to see what she can do to you. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling for me because I'm one of those people she plots on the most. So I always get far away from her as soon as she pops up. It's a very negative energy. And according to astrologers, they say that some people in your sun sign are just too much like you. They have too many of the same positive and negative characteristics where it gets on your nerves. And then some of them, the negative aspects of them or the parts of them that aren't like you are the parts that are a problem. Like with the young lady that I'm talking about, it's that negative energy. And when I was younger, I had a similar, I was a plotter. I'll pull a caper in a minute. I was always running some kind of scheme, trying to, test somebody or catch somebody doing something or, those kind of things. Um, so I was like that too. But I mean, dog, we almost 50 now. Like, at what point does this stop? I can see you're in your little, your teens, even maybe your 20s, but come on now. It shouldn't go past 30. At 30, you should start trying to get things together. Anyway, so basically, from what I understand, that's how it is, especially in a romantic relationship. I've dated several Aquarius, and it was not pleasant. Um, the good things that we had in common were really cool, but the things that we didn't have in common, because like the first Aquarius that I'm talking about, she was a January Aquarius, and you guys know because of the decans, we're not the same. February and January Aquarius, we're both Aquarius, but it tweaks our characteristics a little bit. So she was more traditional than I am. She said I was wild. Let me tell you what she said about me. She said I was wild and I had bad habits. And she might have been right. Maybe she's right. But the thing about it was that I was being me. I was living me. I was living my dreams. I was doing me. And she was very reserved. And I don't think that was her nature. I think based on her upbringing, from what she told me, her parents were older when they had her. And it seemed like to me that impacted her behavior. Like she was never allowed to be free. She wasn't allowed to do those kind of things. And I wasn't allowed in a lot of cases, but I did them anyway, I was sneaky. I'll go be sneaky. I'll find a way. And she didn't do that. She pretty much listened to her mom and didn't want to get in trouble, didn't want to rock the boat. And so that's how she was able to, how to maintain. Her mother was an alcoholic. Her mother was a little bit more, was very much more violent than my mother was. So I think that she really needed to keep the peace to feel safe. Didn't want her mom angry or, chasing her or yelling at her. And that's how she kept the peace, was by acting normal. So then she gets with me and I act however I want. So it was a big conflict for her. So our relationship never went smoothly. It didn't go smoothly from the very beginning. I should have stopped messing with her the first night we talked, But at that part in my life, I was so young and I didn't realize if something ain't working, don't try to make it work. I was the type that will try to fix things, try to make them work, try to massage them. Not anymore. Not anymore. If it don't work, it just don't work. I'm good. I'm just like, whatever, But back then, I would try to make things work that didn't necessarily work. And that relationship was one of those things. Then the other Aquarius, was just a sex partner. We were supposed to be just having fun, having a good time. And this is when I was in the university. Okay. So he was one of the last guys I ever dated. The last time I actively dated men was when I was in college. By the time I was 22, going on 23, I was like, I think I'm going to just move on. So he was one of the last ones. And what I didn't like about him was his ego. But he was a man. So, there's a difference, between men and women. But he had a huge ego. And I was under the impression we were just sex partners. So if we're just sex partners, then we're just sex partners. That's it. And I guess he had a different idea of what that meant. So one day I was walking down the street and I hadn't seen him for a while. I had went to Africa and came back. I hadn't seen him for a long time. And I was walking down the street with the gentleman that I was engaged to, He didn't know I was engaged. He hadn't seen me in months. And I was walking down the street with the gentleman that I was engaged to, and he starts screaming out the window and waving all extra. And I was like, don't you see I'm with my dude? Like, you breaking bro code. What is you doing? We just sex partners. You tripping. And I was so disgusted. I was just disgusted with him because it was just like you trying to put me on Front Street and you not even my dude. And see, it's stuff like that that really turned me off. And I never spoke to him again. Even after I broke up with the guy that he saw me with, I never spoke to him again. Because I was like, if you'll put me on Front Street and try to, be all loud and extra in the street, you'll do anything. And it wasn't all that. It was just sex. And see, everybody, I noticed from dealing with men and women that, especially when dealing with men don't, they'll say it's just sex, and they'll treat it as just sex until you do something they don't like. Until they see you with another guy or something happens. As long as they're cool, everything is fine. But as soon as they get in their feelings for 2.5 seconds, then everything is not fine anymore. I remember another situation with that same guy. And this is why I stopped seeing him when I told you I hadn't seen him for months and months. Because the last time I saw him, he was staying over my house. Well, I ain't gonna say he was staying over. He was supposed to come over and leave, okay? That was my plan. I didn't articulate this plan though. I thought it was just, it was given that if it's just sex, you're not sleeping over. You're not using my electricity, you're not using my water. You going wham bam, thank you ma'am. Get out, So that was my understanding, and I thought we had the same understanding, but we did not. So after the dude was dead and I was ready to go to sleep, he was sitting there parlaying like he was going to chill all night. So I was like, I'm ready to go to bed. You gotta go. And maybe I shouldn't have said it like that, but I did. And then he was mad and then he stormed out and it was all kind of issues. So right then and there, I realized I don't know what's going on with him. I think it's ego, but we need to stop seeing each other. So I just stopped messing with him. And he didn't bother me. He didn't call me. He didn't try to, hit me up. He left me totally alone until he saw me walking down the street with that man. And something in him snapped. And he was like, yo, you don't see? Because I was trying to ignore him. Y'all know me. I was like, I was looking all over here. And he was like, yo, you don't see me? Erica. I mean, he was, because that's my government name, Erica. He was screaming. And I was like, and like the guy that was with me was like, do you know him? And I was like, I don't know. He don't look familiar. I played it straight off. And he was in a car, so they kept driving and we were walking. But it was just like, dude, why are you being extra over some sex? Like, So again, it's this case of this Aquarius who you would think would be like me, would be nonchalant, having a good time. We just chilling. But he was on a whole different vibe. I don't know if it was nature versus nurture, but it was definitely a problem. So the bottom line is that if somebody is of your sun sign, you're either going to be very, very close or you might not be able to stand them. Either way is normal. Don't think it's abnormal no matter which way you feel, because either way, according to astrologers, is fair game. Okay? All right, let's take a look at some of these positive comments. I got one from Easy Breezy. Nice name. Hey, Easy Breezy. Easy Breezy said Aquarius and Scorpio simply don't match. First of all, I would strongly suggest, and I say this every time somebody mentions something like this to me, I would strongly suggest you don't judge compatibility by sun signs. You have to judge compatibility by the entire chart. So if I say, okay, I have a Libra and I have a Capricorn and I'm Aquarius, Which one would I get along better with? Astrology says, based on the elements, I'm going to get along better with the Libra. The Libra is an air sign. We have a lot more in common. Now, if the Capricorn has an Aquarius moon, and maybe Aquarius and Venus, we might get along better than me and the Libra. So you have to look at the entire chart. Every Scorpio that I've ever been around, romantically and in a friendship, now I'm not going to say every Scorpio, a lot of the Scorpios that I've been around, I have had to kick to the curb. But I do have, well, now I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about this one guy. He's a Scorpio. He's a sweetheart. I love him. So it is some that I get along with very well. My mentor, when I was young, my mentor was a Scorpio. And she was so loving and so nurturing. She really helped me. Just her presence and the things that she taught me. My daughter is in a relationship. She's a Scorpio. She's in a relationship with an Aquarius. My daughter's moon is also in Aquarius. I've never seen my daughter this happy. So it can work. Anything can work. It just depends on a number of factors. But if you're talking about elementally speaking, in general, Scorpio, Aquarius, no. But if I met a Scorpio and she was trying to holler at me, I would not write her off. I would want to see her chart. Because depending on what's up in that chart will tell me if we can make it or not. Sometimes people, I feel, are writing off other signs too quickly. You have to do more exploration than that. If you just compare your sun signs or just your moon signs or anything like that, I don't think you're going to come up with the right answer most of the time. Because a lot more goes into you than just your sun sign. There's nature, there's nurture, there's Venus, there's where's Mercury. I mean, there's so many different things. Like, what's your communication style? There's so many different things that are going to play into if I am romantically compatible with you or not. Now, mind you, I've always left every Scorpio I got with romantically. To be honest with you, I found them to be playing games, especially the last one. The last one was straight playing, and I wasn't in the mood to play. But that doesn't mean that if I met another one, I wouldn't give them a chance. I think people have to really be careful with that. You mess around and totally disregard your soulmate because their sun sign's not in the right place. Mimi Cabrera. Mimi, what's up? Mimi said, oh, Capricorns. I can't. Hi, Queen. Capricorns. Capricorns and I have a very strange relationship because they're very difficult for me to deal with. My mother's a Capricorn, my sister's a Capricorn, and my ex-husband is a Capricorn. They're not easy for me to deal with, but my favorite person of all time, my grandmother, was a Capricorn. She is my favorite, hands down, of all time. I think it's a close neck and neck with my daughter. Between my daughter and my grandmother, those are my favorite people of all time. And she's a Capricorn. So I got a good buddy too. I talk to my buddy all the time. She's a Capricorn. So I think that once again, you have to look at, more than just their sun sign. But in general, I've named 6 Capricorns and I'm close with 2 of them. The other 4 are a challenge, definitely. But Capricorn, if you're not romantically involved with them, I think is the best way. Capricorn friends will help you be more grounded. Capricorn friends, when they're, good friends, when they're truly a friend, Capricorn friends can help you with things like finances, practical things. My Capricorn friends have been very helpful in those ways. So I think that it's not always the easiest, but if you find one that's decent hearted, it's worth it. All right, guys. See you later. Come back soon.